You know that the earth is rotating from the west to the east along its axis. Now, while this rotation is taking place, the sun heats up the earth, and the light and the heat from the sun is mostly concentrated at the center of the earth, which is the equator. Now, not that the poles don't receive this light and heat, but it is just not as intense as at the center. So, you know that warm air is lighter than cold air and it rises up. So, by that logic, the warm air at the equator should rise up and go to the poles, and the cold air at the poles should come down to the equator. But that's not that simple, because the earth is rotating in the meanwhile. So while this rotation is taking place, the warm air from the equator is trying to go to the poles and the cold air from the poles is trying to come to the equator. Now, all this forms wind currents that move in very different directions. This is a map of how wind currents usually move on the earth. And these wind currents are formed because of the uneven heating of the sun on the earth at the equator and at the poles. So what have we learned in this video? We have seen how wind currents are formed, or at least one way of wind currents forming, that is the uneven heating at the equator and the poles of the earth. So until next time, happy learning.